there's something I do want to ask that, as we're talking is, what do you think in your own ministry or own development sort of blocked this view of Christ?
I think for me, it's wanting to be faithful actually to God and to not allow any particular attribute of God to maybe unbalance others. And I think underneath that view is probably a faulty view that God has many competing different agendas or aspects of who he is that he's trying to hold in tension and walk a very fine tightrope with me. The problem with that is that it presupposes that God's hatred for sin and his love for me are incompatible. And so I think that's probably why I struggle to absorb this message so deeply. Probably a fear that if I believe God really was for me, loved me this deeply, then maybe that meant he's, not really against my sins, or maybe I'm going to be kind of creating a view of God in my mind that's not really faithful to the biblical vision of him. And I think Dane Ortlund has helped to integrate or help me integrate those different aspects of God's nature in a deeper way. I think theoretically, I knew that at the cross, we see that God's wrath and justice meet perfectly. But this book has really helped to make that idea far more alive to me.
Thanks for sharing that, Simon.
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, it's not actually a bad thing. It's a good thing that maybe has become inordinate, and that was similar to Simon, a desire for to be precise doctrinally, to be very clear on doctrine, which I think is very important. And Dane Ortlund tells us, it is important that we're clear on our doctrine, clear on the gospel. But I think coming with that is maybe there's a bit of a suspicion of being overly sentimental, overly touchy-feely, and wondering if I were to open my heart to that, would I be led down a rabbit hole, of this kind of subjectivity? And so I think that there was that fear there, that I don't have it all together, that I need to be doctrinally precise, I need to be in control. I think at the heart of it is probably just self-reliance and, too much confidence in myself getting things right, So I think when I got across that, I realized, oh yeah, he's being really faithful to the scriptures. He's quoting the Puritans, and he's bringing out in new language old truth. And just kind of keep going back to the scriptures over and over to see if it's really true. When I saw that it was really true, I think that's where something kind of unblocked in my heart, and I allowed the message to press more deeply into me. I think similar to Simon, there is that fear. If I open myself to this, am I becoming lawless? Am I becoming an antinomian? And all of those fears. But yeah, I think the antidote to lawlessness is not less grace, right? It's actually real grace, and real grace that flows from a real Jesus. So I think I came to see that.
Yeah, I think for me, there's an inner legalist that somehow came into my walk with Christ, and I think what the book has done is, he goes, remember your first love, Rawi? Remember when your heart came awake? I came out of a Buddhist background, so the book has really recaptured what that first love was. Why was Jesus so compelling? Why was Jesus so beautiful that I would throw away my old life and not know what this new life would be as a new believer, but know, okay, all I need is Jesus, right? Now 20 years later, I'm going, I have to go back to Jesus again. This is that experience, come back to the Lord. But yeah, as a leader, there's certain things that you experience that I don't know, that there's maybe disappointment, expectations not unmet, either personally or with others. And I don't know, somehow I think Christ and his love dimmed down a bit, but the book has really fired that back up in me. And so I found this to be probably, wondering, that's the blockage for me.